Yeah, exactly. And so when approaching this film, I just couldn't really make a film about gentrification without questioning my own complicity as an artist in the process. And therefore, that actually then became the central theme of the film.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I had to ask was wondering if some of those shots felt like they look like Instagram shots on purpose. I was wondering if you had done that intentionally to kind of like give it the hipster look as well.
No, I haven't, but but I'm very glad you feel it has that additional layer because it's that's the irony of the film is that it's, you know, and that's the irony of my central character. Her dilemma is that she very much she encompasses all of this kind of stereotypes of hipster that we know, and yet she's also a native Brixtonian and a woman of color and is trying to make this project. So I think that the aesthetic of the film had to be quite seductive in that kind of ironic way. So that's kind of what I was going for.
That's awesome. Can we open it up to the audience? Yep.
Hi, I'm Nadine Patterson. I love your film. It's beautiful. Your film is beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
And can you tell us about your relationship to dance and music as a filmmaker? I studied in London for a couple of years, and I noticed that music and dance seems to be a big part of, you know, the British vision in terms of cinema, as well as that kind of documentary but very honest, realistic portrayal of character and place.
I think in terms of music and dance, definitely as a Brit, as a Nigerian, it's a big important part of my life. I often joke with my composer, who's also Nigerian. Most of the team behind the film is Nigerian. There was unconscious bias. I joke with him that I'm just essentially a failed musician who makes films. So the most exciting part of this, apart from obviously shooting, casting, and all of that stuff, was working with my composer to make the sound of the film. I am, like I said at my talk at the symposium, I'm very big on just filmmakers who know how to use music and really know how to use it well. And so I just felt like the energy of Brixton is very much what you see on the screen. It's fast, there's movement. You come out of the station, you will hear people singing, people dancing. So I really wanted to capture the energy of Brixton and also just infuse the film with a sort of kinetic energy where this movement and sound just comes into it, and we can move into that as well. And my whole attitude to this film is that there were no rules. We could just do it with whatever we wanted. If we wanted a dance off, we'll have a dance off. If we wanted a song to be played, performed from the start to the finish, we'll do that. Because that's the energy and essence of the film, then we should capture it. So that was my philosophy on that.
Over here.
I really loved how it was edited, and I'm wondering how long did it take you to edit, and how did you decide on that style? It has this consistent rhythm, and it's fast in the right places and slows down at the right places.
Thanks. As I said in the symposium, my editor, when he edited this film, he was 19. He's only now 20. And what was quite funny is that he hadn't even got. I graduated from the National Film and Television School, and he had applied, but he hadn't even got in at that stage. And I'm pretty sure there was no one who would have taken a chance on a 19-year-old editor. But I was obsessed with this concept of finding someone who didn't have fixed ideas of what cinema had to be. I wanted someone who had the practical and technical know-how, which he had lots of work experience, so he could do that. But I wanted someone who was completely free in thinking about what a film had to be, and I wanted someone young who had that kind of energy within them, and he just was, and Kemi, another Nigerian, he was perfect. So he was young, he didn't have fixed ideas, we could really collaborate, and a lot of what you see in the film, because it's a crazy film, it's a mixture of documentary, fiction, animation, performance art, photography. Like, the edit was essential to this project. And if we had someone who was like, oh no, it needs to be fixed like this or something. You know, if we had a more editor who had very fixed ideas on what cinema could be, I doubt we would have got the fluidity and the just general energy of the film. I mean, it was great when we were in LA Film Festival, because he was like a 20-year-old kid just hanging out with people, and it was just very funny to see him in that kind of context, as I've known him since he was like 17, so it was very interesting.
Yes, wonderful film. How did you and/or your team go about researching for the film? Did you bring lots of first-hand knowledge? Do you know people who were in the Brixton riots and have lived there for years? How did you and your team do that?
Well, like, as I said, it's a mixture of fiction and documentaries. So the events with all the people, Reclaim Brixton, that was a real event that happened in Brixton last year, an anti-gentrification protests, which had the additional irony of being full of gentrifiers. And that wasn't meant, I only had like half a script for this film. That wasn't even meant to, we didn't even really know about that until 3 days before it. I mean, I knew of meetings and stuff, but I hadn't known how big of a campaign it would be. So we made split decisions to bring our fictional character into this very real environment. And the only reason why people weren't really focusing on us is because everyone had cameras. So that was very crazy, because as you saw, it got kind of heated at points, and the police, everything, all those people are real people. So it's that's the kind of engagement I was looking for, to bring out the kind of realness in what we were dealing with. And a lot of the people who were interviewed, like the lady with the hat, she was very old school Brixton. And it's the mixture of like new school and old school that really, I think, produced this film. The photography, the book that she reads, and the pictures that we see at the end are by a famous Brixtonian photographer called Neil Canlock, who filmed a lot of Brixton from like the 80s, Windrush, and he's a dude from obviously the next generation. But it was exciting for me to bring someone like Neil into this, a picture that's really about young, like kind of like millennials in Brixton, as he's like old school Brixton. So it's the mixture of the young and the old that really gave it, I think, its authenticity.